Hi everyone, Peter here from Flow High Performance, and I'm going to be answering another question that I received on Instagram. So the question is from Joel19_Carpintero, and his question is, how can I improve explosiveness as a teenager and increase my plateau? And in brackets is written 15 to 16 years. So first part of the question is pretty simple. To increase explosiveness as a teenager is pretty much the same as anyone else. The only difference would be you might want to regress some of the exercises you do or the training methods you do to not injure yourself, especially if you're not proficient at some exercises. So by explosiveness, we essentially mean how much force you can produce in minimal time. So pretty much to improve explosiveness, it's pretty simple. We want to do some sort of speed work if you're a running-based athlete. You want to do some plyometric work, some power training, so moving moderate loads in a ballistic manner, and also maximum strength work. So for a teenager, assuming he's not fully developed, speed work is pretty much going to be the same. We want to do maximum sprinting at maximum intensity, and we want to do unloaded sprints as well as probably resisted sprints are going to be a good idea. For plyometric training, we probably don't want to do too intense plyometrics because they may not have the strength and resilience to actually hold some of these positions. So low level plyometrics are going to be your best option. So we want to avoid things like drop jumps and depth jumps and things like that, where the athlete may not be able to handle their own body weight in those exercises. Some good exercises would be bounds, just basic box jumps, small pogo hops, things like that. Power training, we probably want to avoid anything spinal loading, so squat jumps, trap bar jumps are probably a no-go because they may not have developed as a teenager the basic motor patterns to actually perform those exercises at low velocities. So I think really simple exercises, weighted box jumps and medicine ball throws are both ballistic in nature and almost anyone can perform them safely. So strength training is going to be heavily dependent on what they've done in the past, but some good options for athletes who have not much experience in the gym. I like exercises like walking lunges and a sled push. I think a sled pull is awesome because you can use really heavy loads, produce really high forces, and it's almost impossible to do a sled push wrong and get hurt. And for the second part of the question about increasing a plateau, by this I assume he means building a bigger foundation as a youth athlete so that then you reach a greater peak later in your career. I don't fully believe this concept is entirely true. It's hard to understand whether a long-term athletic development model is ultimately going to yield greater results to experienced athletes later in their career. So I can't confidently say any training intervention at a younger age will actually improve your peak later in your career. But what we can definitely say is definitely to stay healthy throughout your entire career, which is mainly going to come down to load management. So not overdoing it as a young athlete and then setting yourself up for injuries later in your career. And that way you should be able to have a longer career. And if you can consistently train this whole time, you're probably going to reach a greater peak later on in your career. But the same fundamental concepts apply. We want to develop speed, we want to develop plyometric ability, we want to develop power, and we want to develop max strength. And rather than thinking about doing specific training methods based on your age, it should be more based on your development and your experience level, since people at adolescent ages have developed and matured at different rates. So some athletes may be able to handle more advanced training techniques, while some athletes at the same age may not be able to handle those same techniques just because of how quickly they've developed and how much experience they have doing these exercises. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you got something out of this video. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already.